Look, I thought it was wise to rest the guys. I understand the counter-argument. I do. I'm not a dummy here. I get it. Neither side can prove what's going to be the best thing for the next month. I do think San Fran's a tougher opponent than the Packers, but I also don't think they're that much tougher. So, look, to me, the greater concern is the second round.
How about going on the road
in the second round? Yeah, but I'll say this. I don't fear Chicago.
Then going on the road, well, we'd have to go on the road most likely to Seattle for the NFC Championship game.
We'll say.
Probably.
We'll say.
But then again, Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. Seattle might succumb to
Seattle could lose to the Rams. They could lose to the Rams.
Absolutely, they could.
Yeah. Honestly, I think other than
I don't think we're going to be around to take advantage.
Other than I think there's 5 teams that are around the same spot. I think Carolina is the worst, and I think Green Bay is the second worst. And then you have the other 5 that I think are pretty similar. Anyway, let's get to the Bad of the Bone Award.
That's why we needed an optimal path.
Well, I think rest is more...
Because there are similar... it does feel like there's a clump. And we don't have the dominance that we displayed last year in the postseason.
San Fran just played all out, and the Eagles didn't, and I think that benefits the Eagles in this game.
Well, I think you're wrong.
All right, game balls when they win, blame balls when they lose. Let's crank it up with the Bad of the Bone Award. John Ritchie always with the first shot at it. Bad as in you bad. Looking at you, Keely Ringo, and some others.
I think I know where John's going with this one. I don't think it's anyone who played on the field yesterday.
John, what do you got, bud? Blame ball to who?
The Eagles head coach. The guy who made the decision. I'm assuming he made the decision.
Well, I think it was probably him and Howie in conjunction, frankly.
Do I have to give it to one? That decision, the maker of that decision, if it was Nick Sirianni, that is not what wins football games, especially when you have a chance to give yourself the best path. We no longer have that best path, and we needed it. We needed that. With this team this year, it's a disaster.
Okay.
Nick Sirianni
I think it
yesterday.
is not a disaster, but okay. Seltzer, blame ball to who?
He wasn't the worst player on the field yesterday. There'll be other people mentioned who played worse. But Tanner McKee, what a disappointment. I think I know he wasn't playing with the best players and all that, but man, he had an opportunity yesterday to really, first of all, make himself a lot of money in the future, but also just to kind of cement himself as what we thought he was. And he was awful. He was flat out bad in big spots. The interception was terrible. Yep. It was a tough day for Tanner McKee.
Pocket presence wasn't good. Accuracy wasn't good.
Oh, and by the way,
and obviously no wheels.
And not just that, no functional mobility. If they get to him, he's cooked. He's just throwing it out of bounds, or they get him, and that's it.
So maybe something positive can come out of this, that people can stop pushing to make our backup quarterback better than our starter. Can people stop with that?
Well, yesterday certainly slows the roll there.
You.
I don't think it ends it, but I think it slows it dramatically. Rhea, blame ball to who?
I'm going to give it to Kevin Patullo, which is the first time I've done all year. Those play calls, I still can't get over. You could have beaten that team. You'd make different play calls, 3rd and 2, 4th and 2. You're not running Tank Bigsby in the fourth quarter.
Who played really well.
You're dropping Tanner McKee, who sucked yesterday, back 40 times to pass. You won't do that with Jalen Hurts, okay? And you're doing it with him in a game that would have given you the 2 seed.
With an offensive line that was struggling to pass protect.
And they were doing it. And they were
guys couldn't get open the whole thing.
They were doing it better. Bigsby in the first half, I think, was averaging 6 yards per play.
He had 105 total yards in the third quarter or something like that.
So to me, it was ridiculous.
All right, so I got a lot of blame balls to go around. I only got one left, but I got a lot in mind. I will say this before I give out the blame ball. Game ball to Nick Sirianni.
Love it.
For being willing to face the criticism from John Ritchie and any number of millions for criticizing him for resting the players. I think he gets a game ball for that decision because I think it was the right decision.
This is so pathetic.
That's what I believe. Blame ball. All right, so rattling through my head is Keely.
Game ball for being cowardly.
Game ball for being
not what
game ball
wins,
for being
man.
wise.
I would agree with you, except that he played Devonta.
Well,
That's why you keep half a ball.
Great idea.
I hear you.
Great idea being inconsistent in your stupidity.
All right.
How about half a game ball?
Blame balls. I got Sirianni for some of that type of stuff. I got Keely Ringo in mind. I've got the frickin' 17th wide receiver Cooper in mind, who they would have scored a touchdown, but he does, I catch a ball for the 4th time all year. Let me taunt.
Do you think that was a real big
It was
call?
a horrible call, but they
it
made it. Yeah, it was enough. They made it very clear. You
Look,
did it.
I'm going to give it to Keely Ringo. I mean,
can we add Ja'Cory and Bennett? Can it be a
him
duel?
too.
There.
Well, again, Howie's got his work cut out in the offseason to replenish the backups because clearly the Eagles' backups are not good.
Well, they went into this season thinking he was a starter, and pretty much everybody knew he was.
Well, yeah. I mean, they made one trade or two trades to try to rectify.
Yeah, multiple. Yeah. Well, and this is the whole offseason we talked about how many guys they lost, and it didn't end up affecting the starting defense the way we thought. It's the depth across the whole team is nowhere close to what it was.
Well, and also, and I'll use Seattle a decade ago as an example because I remember when the Eagles got Chris Maragos from Seattle, and it's like, well, how do you get that guy who's that good at special teams? Because they're paying all their great starters. It's like, all right, it's time to pay Richard Sherman and Russell Wilson and the running back and this guy and that guy. And like, so you get depleted when you pay Hurts and AJ and Lane and Mulata and on down. You just get
the
depleted.
Most expensive offense in the league.
Yeah, so they are clearly depleted in their backups, and Howie's going to need one or two good drafts to replenish that. But anyway, you can react to everything we got going on here. 215-592-9494. Look, the decision to play Devonta, I thought was poor, really poor. And Devonta, who I've got to imagine, and I'm using the word imagine, I've got to imagine probably advocated for it. I don't think Sirianni just like, oh, Devonta, let's get you 1,000. And Devonta's like, nah. And Sirianni's like, no, let's get you 1,000. Devonta probably advocated for it. So
I don't know.
I think he definitely
100%.
did. He definitely did.
I don't know.
Very probably.
Nick Sirianni, the guy, the players talk about the fact that he is dialed into them. I mean, they're texting him about their college teams and stuff. I do think one of the great things about Nick Sirianni is that he is on their level in so many ways in a positive.
Well, I agree
respect.
with that, but
it is the kind of thing that he might approach him about beforehand.
Well,
I think it's possible.
I cannot imagine a scenario,
and especially paired with Devontae's personality. Like, he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would be gunning for 1,000.
Let's listen to Devonta after the game because clearly he was for about 5 seconds at a loss for words of how to answer a question. It was a good question.
It really was.
This is NBC Sports Philadelphia. This is Ashlyn Sullivan, I think. And Devonta clearly struggled to answer the question. And listen to this exchange.
Devonta, why was it important for you to play in this game and reach the milestone of 1,000 yards?
I wouldn't just necessarily say just important, but I just had to talk with Coach Nick, and he allowed me the opportunity to go out there and do it. And I'm grateful that he allowed me to do it.
I mean, that tells me he didn't yesterday want to appear selfish in how he answered the question. I think he did a good job of not appearing selfish. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, I think Devonta, who's one of my favorite Eagles, I think Devonta approached the coaching staff.
He said we had a talk.
Yeah, well, yeah, but hold on. James. I used the word approach. I think he approached, I can't prove it, but I think he probably approached the coaching staff. Sirianni authorized it, and I think it's a damn dumb decision.
And how about if it had been A.J. Brown? Would we all be sitting here this morning saying what a selfish player he is? But nobody's saying it about
you're right.
No, you're right.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That is a fair point.
I hate everything about it. I'm not okay with it. I'm with you. Yeah, I hate that he played Devonta.
I didn't like it either. Let's listen to another Sirianni talking about this whole thing of starters and backups and the possibility of the starters going in late, which, of course, he did not do. But a lot of people were asking about it and wondering about it. Here was Sirianni after the game.
The idea of inserting starters late in the game when you see how things are unfolding, both with the Chicago game and here, why was that not an option on the table?
Yeah, I don't think that's, with the guys that haven't been going all the game, and then to throw them in there in the third or fourth quarter, I don't think that's fair to them. And then that kind of, like I said, you make a decision early in the week, and that's what you go with. Now, guys would have had to be ready if people were going down. With what happened at safety, Reed was ready to go in if there was something else that was gonna happen. But again, you make decisions, right? And that's your job as a head coach. You have to make tough decisions. And that's why, and half the people are going to agree with it, half the people aren't. Half you guys are going to agree with it, half you aren't, and that's okay. But you have to do what you think's best for the football team. And so to change course, if you make that decision and you're convicted on it, and then change course in the middle, I think that puts the guys in a tough spot. And again, I knew that this could be the outcome, right? I knew, and we knew all these things. Like, I didn't know the outcome of the other game. It ended up going the way we wanted. We wanted it to go, but again, I did what I did because I did what I felt was best for the football team.
All right. Well, clearly, people in here are
have conviction,
disagreeing.
not convicted. If you're convicted, you're of a crime. You need to have conviction about something. Stop saying you're convicted.